In the Old Testament's book of Job, God reveals to us that Satan cannot bring physical and financial destruction to us unless it's by God's permission. God has power over what Satan can and cannot do. It's beyond our human understanding to know the whys behind all the suffering in the world. Suffering may sometimes be allowed in our lives to purify, test, teach, or strengthen the soul. In all our lives, God should remain enough, and He deserves and wants our love and praise in all circumstances of life. This latest video report looks at the lessons from the book of Job. In the book of Job, there is a wealthy man named Job who lives in an area called Uz, extended family and vast flocks. In Job 1:1, God says he was blameless and upright, constantly mindful to live as a righteous man. God mentions Job to Satan in Job 1:8. There is no one on earth like him. He is blameless and upright, a man who fears God and shuns evil. However, Satan contends that Job is only righteous because God favored him generously. Then Satan dares God to give him approval to inflict suffering on Job to see if he will change and curse God. God gives Satan the permission to abuse Job, but he forbids Satan to take Job's life. Over the time of one day, Job is given 4 devastating occurrences, each informing him that his sheep, servants, and 10 children have all died due to thieving intruders or natural disasters. When this happens, Job rips his clothes and shaves his head in sorrow, yet he still praises God in his prayers. Satan goes to heaven before God again, and he allows Satan another opportunity to test Job. This time, however, Job is plagued with terrible skin sores. Job's wife urges him to denounce God and to give up and die, but he rebukes her and pledges to try to endure his affliction. 3 of Job's companions, Eliphaz, Bildad, and Zophar, arrive to comfort him. Job damns the day he was born and wishes he had never been born. Eliphaz concludes that Job's pain must be due to some sin Job has done. He recommends Job should seek God's favor again. Bildad and Zophar agreed that Job must have performed evil to provoke God. Bildad supposed that Job's children brought their deaths upon themselves. Zophar goes as far as saying that whatever wrongdoing Job had done, he likely deserved more suffering than what he had experienced. Job then becomes angry and calls his companions worthless physicians, who whitewash with lies. Job believes that there needs to be a witness in heaven who would testify for his integrity to God. The suffering is too much for Job, and he turns bitter, anxious, and scared. He deplores the injustice that God lets evil people thrive, while he and many other honest people suffer. Job wants to find God and protest, but he could not physically find God. But he decides to persevere in seeking wisdom by fearing God and evading evil. God eventually intervenes and appears to Job and encouraged him to be brave. Overcome by the appearance of God, Job, while still angry, speaks to him and says the following in Job 19:1-4. How long will you torment me and crush me with words? 10 times now you have reproached me. Shamelessly you attack me. If it is true that I have gone astray, my error remains my concern alone. Then in Job 19:7-9, though I cry violence, I get no response. Though I call for help, there is no justice. He has blocked my way, so I cannot pass. He has shrouded my paths in darkness. He has stripped me of my honor and removed the crown from my head. Then the Lord spoke to Job through a whirlwind. Job 38:1-6 says, Who are you to question my wisdom with your ignorant, empty words? Now stand up straight and answer the question I asked you. Were you there when I made the world? If you know so much, tell me about it. Who decided how large it would be? Who stretched the measuring line over it? Do you know all the answers? What holds up the pillars that support the earth? Who laid the cornerstone of the world? In Job 38:19-21, God said, Do you know where the light comes from or what the source of darkness is? Can you show them how far to go or send them back again? I'm sure you can because you're so old and were there when the world was made. With that, Job, so overcome by the appearance of God, gives in. Job recognized God's infinite power and accepts the constraints of his human understanding. The response pleases God. God then restores Job's health, granting him twice as much property as before, new children, and a remarkable long life. In the end, Job never completely lost hope or faith in God, as an inspiration to everyone enduring suffering of their own. This is H.A. Graves.